Guys, I have an announcement.
Oh my goodness. That shit
Cue
just
the
got
trumpets, unveil the banner, get the cameras rolling. On this day, May 24th, 2023, I have officially canceled my subscription to MLB TV.
Wow, May 24th. Yeah.
May 24th. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just couldn't waste my money.
Is this the earliest in the season you've done it?
It's pretty early.
Look in your account history.
Yeah, I should.
But don't they have a bunch of those like minor league games? Aren't they broadcasting a shit ton of minor league games as well on MLB?
I just can't bring myself to care about that. I can't. I don't know. The Royals are 20 games under 500. Although surprisingly, that's only 10 and a half games back out of first in the AL Central.
Amazing.
But we all know that's going to change throughout the season. They just have very little to look forward to it. And I don't know, maybe it's just me being a disgruntled fan, but the product that they put on the field day in and day out is completely unwatchable. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Listen to this stat. Kansas City is 20 games below 500 before Memorial Day for the third time in franchise history.
Oof.
They also did it in 05 and 06. The team has fallen 20 games below before June 8th in 4 of the past 162 game seasons. 4 of the past 5 162 game seasons.
That's bad. That is bad.
It's brutal.
Well, it's fucking Dayton Moore, man. Dayton Moore didn't know what he was doing, I think, there for a hot minute. He lucked into that World Series teams.
Well, I mean, as much as like that front office deserves credit for that run that they had in 2014, 2015, they also deserve even more credit for completely fucking up the organization.
That's true.
With their like batshit crazy methods for drafting, acquiring, developing players. And it was all based on like weird religious and like family values bullshit. Like
it's like a bunch of player development those 2 years with Hosmer and all that, but outside of that, nothing. Got rid of all those people and then just couldn't even come close to that again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
bummer.
Yeah, can't do it. Anyway, that's my rant. I'll stop ranting about the Royals for the rest of the year.
No, you won't.
No, yeah.
I probably won't, but hopefully we'll see.
I mean, what they just released Hunter Dozier. I mean, that's
it
huge.
is DFA season.
It is.
And that's we are
some big names.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
So DFA, or designated for assignment, for those that don't know, essentially means they've been fired. Taken out back old Yeller style. We had a few recipients of this prestigious honor over the weekend. And like you said, Paul, first up, near and dear to my heart, is Mr. Eric Hosmer.
Yes.
He was DFA'd from the Cubs. I think this is like his third DFA in the past like 3 seasons. He was DFA'd from the Red Sox, right, Eric?
I believe so.
Or he was traded from the Red Sox, wasn't he?
Was he? I thought he was DFA'd, man.
Looking it up.
Maybe he was DFA'd and then traded before like he had to make that decision.
Yeah, because they can. The team has the option to trade him or just let it expire, and then some other team can pick him up.
Yeah. I mean, well, was he DFA'd from the Padres, and that's how Boston got him?
I think he was traded to Boston from San Diego.
Yes, that is correct. Let me find out. Yep, he was DFA'd from the Red Sox. Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking Haas.
I think his time is coming to an end soon.
Hanging up.
Although I have seen some things that the Cardinals could be a potential landing spot for him.
Why? They're doing well. Why would they do that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Why would they do that?
It's like all those the Mariners. the fucking Mariners like had everybody sitting on the seat of their edge of their seat like this last offseason and literally traded for like Colton Wong and Tommy La Stella that let's pick up a bunch of 35-year-olds that were good 10 years prior and fucking hope they're going to be good now. And it's like, and clearly the Mariners just are not doing it. And so, yeah.
Well, speaking of the Mariners, another guy that was DFA'd, Hunter Dozier, who was a Royal, who was hitting a whopping 222 over the past 3 seasons. He was finally let go. This was a long time coming and should have been done a while ago, but good to see they're coming to their senses.
Seasons ago, or
like beginning of this year, or maybe last year.
Yeah.
He's just been bad.
Yeah.
2019, he had a good year, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I saw something that maybe says the Mariners might be a potential landing spot for Mr. Hunter Dozier because,
my God, what?
Because what's his name is so bad. AJ Pollock is so bad.
Yeah, he sucks too.
Yeah, so
another 35-year-old hoping he's gonna like turn it around this season.
The fountain of youth.
God, they might upgrade to Hunter Dozier this year, Paul.
Man, that would suck. But then again, I mean, fuck, Pollock sucks, dude. He's had like 2 hits the entire year or something. So.
Yeah, he's not good.
No.
Finally, Aaron Hicks, the center fielder for the Yankees, was DFA'd.
Seems like a big move right there.
I feel like this was one the Yankees fans have been clamoring for a while now. Especially considering how much money he was making. He had that huge deal a few years ago and has just been pretty poor since then. Fun fact, when you Google Aaron Hicks, the first thing that comes up when in the little section that says people also ask, it says, who is Aaron Hicks' baby mama? The answer to that question is actually Tiger Woods' niece. So there you go. I found out something interesting about Aaron Hicks today.
What?
Oh.
Weird.
It is weird. I looked at it. I was like, why is that the first question that people ask?
I'm trying to think of a joke to make there, and there just isn't
Who
one.
is his baby mama? Yeah, we had some DFAs. One we didn't talk about, I don't know if we talked about this earlier, but Madison Bumgarner was DFA'd earlier this season.
He was. Well, it sounds like he's just a fucking colossal jackass.
Well, he always has been.
Well,
he got DFA'd right after didn't he get into a fight or something like
with
that? With
somebody on his own team, his catcher.
Is that what it was?
I think it was his catcher. They were getting he was like shaking the pitches and not liking the stuff that he was calling. And so they went back to the dugout and he fucking cried like a baby.
Well, he's always kind of been that way, though. He's always been kind of a hothead.
Yeah. Had a good run with the Giants, though, for a minute.
He did. Well, yeah. I mean, he was incredible for that, 6, 7 years, 8 years, whatever he was with them.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I wonder if somebody like Texas goes after him.
I could see that. Oh, man. Texas is like, they're so in. They're so in, and they're going to buy at the deadline. Like, they're going, yeah. And
it would reunite him with Bochy, because Bochy was his coach with the Giants.
This is true.
But what did I say about the Rangers, though, Paul?
Don't give a shit.
I called it. They're looking good.
Man, they are looking good. They're holding it up.
First place.
Yeah. Hey, man. There's still plenty of time.
There is still plenty of time. Yeah.
I think like last year, was it last year we went like right after the All-Star break, we went on a 14-game win streak. Can't really guarantee that to happen ever again, but all of a sudden we're in the playoffs, man. That's all it takes. Just win for 2 weeks straight, you're in.
Yeah.
There's too many good teams like competing for a wild card right now. It's fucking crazy. In the AL at least.
Tell me about it.
Right.
They'll separate a little bit as the season goes on. The Red Sox will fall off.
Every AL East team is going to be buyers. They're going to buy up all the good players in the Central. And it's just going to be depleted.
Yeah. Paul, do you want to talk about how the umpires fucking suck?
Man,
I know you have you have some strong opinions on this.
I should really I should have done some more research so I can present stuff to you or show you or whatever. But I watch a lot of Mariners games now and having root sports once again, and there's just I don't know what's more frustrating: the pitch outside that's called a strike, or the blatant strike that's freaking called a ball. And this has been happening way too much lately. And they got the tracer, or they got the box, whatever it is, the strike box. And it's just so frustrating when there's you're not supposed to only get 80% of these calls right.
Yeah.
This is one of those things you need to be spot on.
And they rarely are.
Rarely are.
I mean, but then again, it's like in baseball, you're a fucking magnificent hitter if you hit 35% of the time. You are next level. You are elite. So, maybe they're cool with the umps only getting 75% of the calls right, balls and strikes. It's just frustrating. They should almost eliminate the tracer, the strikeout box for people to look at, so you just don't know.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a recent. How long has that been on TV broadcasts? 5 years at most.
I feel like the Mariners have had it for a long time, longer than 5 years. Now it's every single pitch. It used to be a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's every single pitch. And it's if we're going to do it like that, well, then we better get these calls right every single time.
Yeah.
Robo-umps.
I agree with you.
At least calling those balls and strikes. I mean, that has to change as soon as possible.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I guess my only question would be, are we getting to a point where we're so judgmental as to what the umpires are doing because we have more technology at our hands and we have more we have more availability to see what kind of calls they're making and how, if the calls are good, if the calls are bad, have they always been this bad?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now we have the proof.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just and you have the ability to challenge every single call, and what happens with every challenge? Go to the video. If video is always right, why isn't it the one making the fucking calls kind of thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
I would agree. I would think that they would incorporate some sort of system to allow teams to challenge at least a couple of pitches a game, right? If that's the route that we're going, if we're going to get, if we're going to continue to get more and more, if we're going to look at it with such a close lens to see the that umpires are messing up more and more, then maybe it is something that we have to incorporate that challenge into games. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here, playing a little bit of devil's advocate. Maybe they're not as bad as we see them at times, because think about how many calls they make per year.
That's just it. I mean, they make the majority of the right calls. That's absolutely a thing. But it's just, those.
But when a single call can decide
the bat, the inning, the whatever.
Exactly.
Game,
for sure.
It's just oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Yeah. The thing that does really kind of get to me at times is the inability of people to challenge balls and strikes. And especially on calls where, they're checking to see if the batter actually went around. Because they get that wrong quite a bit. And there's a prime example a couple of years ago when the Dodgers and the Giants were playing. I think it was the NLDS, and it was game 5, final game of the series. And Giants had their last out, and a guy got called strike 3 on a swing, and he didn't go around. You could tell that he didn't swing, but they called it that he did swing. And you can't challenge that. There's nothing that they could do. But clearly the video shows his bat did not cross over the plate like it should. So it's things like that really they need to figure out a way to tighten up.
Yeah.
But who knows if they will.
It's like the new kickoff rule in the NFL, and Andy Reid said the other day or today, like, pretty soon we're going to be playing touch football. We're going to be playing flag football here in a minute.
Yeah.
It's like we got to know when to say when, or yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other rule. But this is a baseball podcast. So we should.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I have thoughts about that too. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys watched any of the minor league games where they have the because they're doing the automatic balls and strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
In minor league.
What isn't it?
Some of them.
Isn't it just a particular league in the minors, like the Atlantic or somebody?
Something like that.
Southern.
No, I think it's. We did a segment on this. We obviously don't remember our own segments, but I think it's the whole.
AAA parks have electronic strikes in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to a single A game, the Everett Aqua Sox, here in a week, or on my birthday, 2 weeks.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
I'm going to go to a Portland Pickles game soon.
Nice.
I'm going to try and go.
No, there's a mascot that we should talk about.
I like it. You going to a Round Rock Express? Is that what you were about to say?
I'm going to try to, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about the umpires, Paul? I know that
I just needed to vent.
It's just
for
a rant.
Yeah, just a rant. I'm sorry.
I get it.
Thank you for listening, though.
Of course. No, I mean, I get it. I think most of the time they get it right.
Mm-hmm.
When they get it wrong, it's amplified because it's like,
exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
You know, and it's frustrating for sure as a fan of the game. I'm sure it's even more frustrating for the players, like
especially when it's on your team and your team gets screwed. That's even more frustrating.
And when you see like progress of strategy going on, and they're doing everything right, and it just ends because the umpire made a mistake, not because the players made a mistake.
Yeah, but it does create entertainment because then the coaches come out, they argue with the ump, the players argue with the ump. It's it's fun. I like that.
Didn't Aaron Boone get thrown out like 15 minutes into the game the other day because of that?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Aaron Boone's he's now gotten up there with some of the most, I don't even know what to call it, the most ejected managers in baseball.
Really?
He hasn't been managing for very long either.
No,
he's thrown out a lot.
He's a player's coach.
Yeah. Does he just like to argue? Maybe he does it just to fire up the team.
Exactly. I'm sure that works.
From 3 days ago, 11:54 a.m., and Aaron Boone has already been ejected.
Good God.
So good.
So last week on the podcast, Eric teased us. He teased us real good.
You big old tease, Eric.
You big old tease. He teased us with a little story about the Grateful Dead and baseball.
Indeed.
Eric, why don't you take it away? Tell us your story.
I am all in on the Grateful Dead right now. I'm seeing them this weekend.
Nice.
Very excited. But yeah, so Grateful Dead's history is a little intertwined with baseball. Did a little research. And I got a little story for you.
Story time with Eric. Da-da-da-da.
Is that my theme song now?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So the Grateful Dead were originally named the Warlocks and were founded in 1965 in Palo Alto, California, and played their first real live show at the Fillmore in San Francisco on December 10th, 1965. They would go on to perform more than 2,300 concerts until Jerry Garcia's death almost 30 years later. And the touring continues to this day as the remaining members reunite in various projects to play for millions of adoring fans. Over those years, the Grateful Dead's history, as I said, has become intertwined with that of baseball's, playing both minor and major league stadiums, as well as other events. Now, I'm going to discuss some of the highlights, as covering every baseball-related event in the band's 30 years could take hours.
We got time. Let's do it.
During their early years, the Grateful Dead played some interesting venues, documented through their popular policy of allowing tapers, attendees who would come with their own recording setup, either microphones or, if they were lucky enough, could run a cable directly to the soundboard. We can still listen to the band performing. In the early days, those venues were at small local clubs, fairgrounds, churches, college basketball gymnasiums, and local civic centers. By 1971, just 5 years after their founding, the band had toured relentlessly, and word of their shows had started to spread. They had become a touring megapower, and it was evident those small venues weren't going to cut it anymore. On April 23rd, 1971, they played the first sports stadium I could find, the Wallace Wade Stadium, home of the North Carolina Blue Devils football team, with a capacity of 44,000 at the time, though considerably less when configured for a concert. During that summer tour, they played several other college football stadiums, including Yale and Texas Christian University. Now, obviously, they were very popular in the San Francisco Bay Area, but they were also immensely popular on the East Coast. So popular, in fact, that in March 1972, they played a sold-out 7-night run at the Academy of Music in Manhattan. It had become clear that New York City didn't have a music venue big enough for them. Additionally, they were hot off the heels of their famous Europe 72 tour that helped solidify their international stardom. They needed a bigger venue in the tri-state area to play. On July 18th, 1972, they played their first baseball stadium, Roosevelt Stadium in New Jersey. Roosevelt Stadium was built as a multi-sport facility and hosted minor league baseball for the New York Giants farm team, the Jersey City Giants, and various high school sporting events. Additionally, 15 MLB games were played there by the Brooklyn Dodgers as part of a negotiating tactic to get a new stadium to replace Ebbets Field. The Grateful Dead show there is considered one of the best by the band in 1972, despite the recording from the soundboard being plagued by a faulty cable, resulting in subpar quality. The Dead would return to Roosevelt Stadium in 1973, 1974, and 1976. The following year, the Dead played Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium in D.C. for the first time. RFK Stadium opened in 1961, and the first MLB game played there was on April 9th, 1962, when the Washington Senators beat the Detroit Tigers 4-1, with the first pitch being thrown out by President Kennedy. The Senators would call RFK Stadium home until 1971, when they moved to Arlington and became the Texas Rangers. The final Senators game at RFK was on September 30th, 1971. Fans were angry about the team moving to Texas, and 14,460 paying attendees were joined by an additional 10,000 fans who simply walked in after security guards left early. With 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning and the Senators leading the Yankees, several hundred fans stormed the field. One person stole first base and ran off with it.
Nice.
With no security and only 3 bases remaining, the umpires forfeited the game to the New York Yankees, the first forfeit in Major League Baseball in 17 years.
Wow.
They didn't have an extra base lying around? Like
Apparently not.
they had to shut the fucking game down because they forgot to have an extra base?
There's also a couple thousand people on the field at this point. So.
Well, yeah, but, you know.
Major League Baseball would not return to RFK Stadium or Washington, D.C. until 2005 when the Montreal Expos moved to D.C. and played their first 3 seasons there while Nationals Park was being built. During that time, RFK was the 4th oldest active baseball stadium in the majors behind Fenway, Wrigley, and Yankee. And while baseball took a hiatus in between, the Dead did not, playing RFK 15 times in total. By 1974, the Grateful Dead were a huge live act. During that year, they toured with their own sound system, dubbed the Wall of Sound, in order to assure the best quality sound for their massive shows. Though the sound system went through several iterations, at its largest, it included 604 total speakers and over 90 amps, providing a total of 26,400 watts of power
Jesus.
to help spread their music over a quarter mile.
God.
They brought the Wall of Sound with them when they played Oakland Coliseum and Roosevelt Stadium during 1974. But due to the additional fuel and personnel needed to travel with the Wall of Sound, it was retired and disassembled at the end of that year, while the band took a 2-year break. When the Dead hit the road again, starting in 1976, they would stop at Roosevelt and Oakland, off and on, but the next new baseball stadium they played wouldn't be for another 10 years. Instead, they found basketball and football stadiums, amphitheaters, and racetracks, such as Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden, and Giant Stadium, more suitable for their shows and immense size of their crowds. On September 4th, 1977, they played to more than 100,000 attendees at Raceway Park, their largest show ever.
Wow.
So 10 years later,
Hold on, where's Raceway Park?
Where's Raceway Park? Yeah.
I believe in California, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'll look that up. I'm not 100% sure about that. In 1986, they played the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis, home of the Twins, and RFK Stadium again, though no longer the home of a baseball team at the time. Well, in 1987, they made a stop at Angels Stadium. From then, it wouldn't be until 1990 for them to form at another MLB stadium when they played a show at Three Rivers Stadium. And the following year, they would perform at Mile High Stadium a couple years before the Rockies' inaugural year, so I'm not sure if that counts. The Grateful Dead would make their final public performance at a baseball stadium on April 12, 1993, when Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, and Vince Welnick performed an amazing and distinctly Grateful Dead a cappella version of the Star Spangled Banner at Candlestick Park before a Giants-Marlins game. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes, to the YouTube video of that. 2 years later, Jerry would be gone, and the Grateful Dead as a band would be no more, but the music lives on. In 2000, Fox became the exclusive broadcast partner of the World Series, and Fox's baseball audio engineer, Emmy Award winner Joe Carpenter, was a Deadhead and attended more than 150 of their shows. Oh, God. He started sneaking in more and more Grateful Dead music into the live broadcasts of the World Series over the years. Quote, "The smooth rhythms lend themselves beautifully to bumpers heading into commercial breaks and slow motion replays. This came to a head in 2020 when he used the Dead's music almost exclusively, with just a little Fish and Widespread Panic mixed in. To the point that Fox Sports MLB tweeted out, 'Thanks for the inspiration during the 2020 World Series at Grateful Dead,' along with a video montage of the Dead's music being used in the broadcast." And again, we'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Wow, cool.
In 2010, the San Francisco Giants held their first official Jerry Garcia night at AT&T Park. The seventh inning stretch was presented by the Rhythm Devils, a band consisting of several remaining members of the Dead, who led the crowd in a kazoo rendition of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Many fans attribute this event to help secure the Giants their first World Series win in 56 years and the first as a San Francisco team. Jerry Garcia Night has since become an annual tradition for the Giants and has spread to many other teams, featuring tie-dye shirts and Jerry Garcia bobblehead giveaways. Since Jerry's death, the remaining members of the Dead have continued keeping the music alive in different iterations. Currently, Dead and Company is composed of several of the remaining members, along with other musicians, including John Mayer filling in for Jerry. They have toured every summer for the past 6 years, except for 2020 due to the pandemic. They have played shows at Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, Citizen Bank Park, Citi Field, and Oracle Park. It was announced that this current summer tour that just started will be the final tour for Dead and Company, though Bob Weir has reiterated that he will continue to tour and play the music of the Grateful Dead as long as he is able to do so and as long as people keep showing up.
Nice.
The end.
I'm curious how many of those stadiums they played are, you may have said this, but how many of those stadiums they played are still standing to this day? Like the original Grateful Dead band, you know what I mean? Like it seems like most of the stadiums that they played are just long gone.
Except for Oakland.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, RFK is gone. Metrodome's gone.
Mm-hmm. Roosevelt is gone, right? Or is that still there?
Gone. I think Roosevelt is gone, yeah.
RFK? Or is that? RFK's... Or no, wait. RFK is where...
Didn't they like redid it into something else, I think.
Isn't that where the Washington Commanders play?
I think that's where they play. And everybody hates it. It's a giant piece of shit.
Fair
it's
enough.
Kind of like the East Coast version of Oakland Coliseum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were they big baseball fans as well, or was this just strictly we need bigger space for more people?
I think they were somewhat interested in baseball. I think there's photos of them wearing like Giants hats and baseball shirts and stuff. I don't know if sports at all were a huge part of the band's interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that they enjoyed playing baseball stadiums.
Cool.
There's a big amphitheater in Mountain View, California.
Yes, there
that
is.
was built, I think, in part by Bob Weir. He had some hand in it. And the theory is that the shape of it, when you look at it from overhead, looks like the Grateful Dead skull. That their logo is. Yeah.
The Steely.
The Steely. Yeah. So
Wow. You have been doing research. You are getting prepared.
I'm into it.
Yeah. What got you into the Grateful Dead? Like, out of curiosity, like, you were the last person I would think that would enjoy the Grateful Dead.
So I've always been a little interested in them.
Uh-huh.
But during COVID, I got a job working from home. And so I had time to listen to 4-hour shows. And there's a very good podcast called 36 from the Vault that there's a series of live shows that the Grateful Dead released post Jerry. Actually, I think that started when Jerry was still alive. But their archivist, Dick Faltala, I'll probably get that name wrong. It's called Dick's Picks before.
Yes.
Before the bad
That is
term.
a great fucking name. Damn it.
Yep.
He picked 36 shows to release that he remastered. And they released it. And this podcast, like, I would listen to the show and then listen to the podcast episode for that show. And they would explain what made this show so great, its place in history, why it was picked, that kind of stuff. And you know
did have a
why
lot of
this
time on your
version of
hands.
the show of this song is good and why this version of the song is bad. Yeah.
Cool.
I've been listening to a lot of shows over the past 2.5 years.
So you listen to the shows rather than just the album. Is that the way to listen to them?
Yeah.
Because
So.
I've listened to, like, you know, American Beauty. Like, that's a great album. I can do that. I don't know if I can sit there and listen to like a 4-hour show, man. That's like
I
a
bet
fucking
you could.
commitment.
If you like, you'll learn, like, so they do. I'm gonna get real nerdy on this.
Yeah.
So they do 2 sets of show. The first set is usually very bluesy and folksy. The second set is like the rock and psychedelic part,
Okay.
where they go effing ham on stuff.
Sure.
That's where you get like 16-minute versions of a 2-minute song.
That's where you lose your shit, man.
Yep. And it's so good. It's just every show is different.
So have you done? Did you get into Fish and Panic and all those guys as
I
well?
haven't gotten into Fish and
Yeah.
Panic yet.
No.
I've tried Fish, not the same.
Yeah.
I still like listening
Widespread
to
Panic's
it, but I'm
pretty
not
good
into
live.
it. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also, there's a series called Hunter's Tricks, Trix. This guy is a sound engineer for the Star Wars guy, Industrial Light and Magic.
George Lucas?
George.
Yes. He's a sound engineer there.
Okay.
And what he's done is he take these, it's called the Matrix. And what you do is you take some of the soundboard recording and some of the audience recording. And the problem that you have with all these is back in the day, you had to flip the tape or change reels or any of that. So he mixes it all together. So you get the quality of the soundboard, you get the intimacy of the audience recording. You don't get the missing time when they're flipping the tape. And he mixes it all into one album and remasters it, and they're excellent.
Okay.
I'm a big nerd about this now.
No, that's fine. Like,
Dick's Picks.
Dick's Picks, dude. That's fucking gold right there.
After Dick died, they had Dave, so there's now Dave's Picks. That's their new archivist.
I respect Dave, but not like I respect.
Yeah,
Dick's Picks is the best.
Yeah.
Best name for a series of albums.
Is there a website? dickspicks.com.
You try that URL.
Yeah, you put that.
It's like before Dick's Sporting Goods bought the URL. Like, you would go to Dick's.com and it was like, oh, this is not the sporting goods store.
I don't think I can find running shoes here.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
I applaud you, Eric. Is this your first concert? Your first Dead
First
concert?
time seeing any of them live, yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be like, how many people can this amphitheater seat? Is it like 30,000?
It's somewhere around there.
Okay, so
Where are you
you'll
seeing
get the
them
full
at?
experience.
Which place?
The Dos Equis Pavilion in Dallas, Texas.
For some reason, that sounds familiar. I think I saw Tool there.
You would.
Tool.
Let's see. It holds 20,000.
Okay, so that'll be a good experience for you.
Yeah. It will be fun.
Enjoy the acid.
Let's get down
The
to brass
weed,
tacks. You drop an
whatever.
acid, you gonna do some
Yeah.
microdosing?
As much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Eric's going to be a touring deadhead before we know it.
It's their last tour. He can't do it anymore.
He's going to finish out their tour.
This tour, they're breaking up. This is the last tour because John Mayer wants to go and do his own stuff. So
Get back to that pop music bullshit he used to do before the Dead.
There'll be a new iteration, and then they'll tour. They change the name every time it's a major lineup change, so they'll be touring under a different name.
So it won't be Dead and Company?
Right.
Oh. Okay.
It'll be so-and-so and the Dead next time.
Right.
Justin Bieber and the Dead.
Justin Bieber does the Dead.
Don't think that'll work as well as John Mayer.
Haven't you heard him play guitar, bro?
Yeah.
No,
it's
I
the
have
Biebs.
not.
The Biebs shreds.
Beam shred. Very good.
Good stuff. I think that is it for this episode. Thank you for listening as always. I feel like I say this every week, but you got to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
You got to follow us.
Send us a message.
You have to do it.
You have to.
If you don't, then you can't listen to our podcast anymore. No, I'm just kidding. That's
Okay.
a terrible threat to make.
Yeah, that's too much, Nick. Too much.
But anyway, we appreciate all of your support out there. Stick around for next week's episode. I don't know what we're talking about next week, actually.
Well, we're going to be
come up
talking
with
about
something.
Eric's experience at the concert.
Oh, yeah. Eric will give us a
first and
recap
foremost.
on his
I
experience.
come back with my brain fried. And
Yeah.
He
Yes.
won't remember what happened at the concert, so that's probably not a good idea.
We might be recasting in a week or two. Just to heads up, so.
Yes. This is Eric's last podcast.
Yeah.
Eric, it's been great having you.
He's going off to space.
Space. Anyway, we will see you all next week.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.